Search in Secret India by Paul Brunton, British journalist in 1930s, a classic book which introduced Ramana Maharishi to the West. And I have taken few pages where he met Kanchi Shankaracharya actually in the place Chengalpet. So he gives a small introduction as how he sees. I learned that Sri Shankara lives a life of almost ascetic plainness as regards food and clothing, but the dignity of his high office requires him to move in regal panoply when traveling. Wherever he goes, he becomes the magnet for crowds of visitors from the surrounding localities. They come for spiritual, mental, physical, and financial assistance. Thousands of rupees are daily laid at his feet by the rich, but because he has taken the vow of poverty, this income is applied to worthy purposes. He relieves the poor, assists education, repairs decaying temples, and improves the condition of those artificial rain fed pools which are so useful in the riverless tracts of South India. His mission, however, is primarily spiritual. At every stopping place, he endeavors to inspire the people to a deeper understanding of the heritage of Hinduism as well as to elevate their hearts and minds. He usually gives a discourse at the local temple and then privately answers the multitude of querents who flock to him. So he has beautifully captured. I wonder if we have such a spiritual head today. Remembering the time tone custom which requires one to bring a little offering of fruits, flowers, or sweetmeats when visiting a spiritual personage, I procure a gift to place before my august host. Oranges and flowers are the only things in sight, and I collect as much as I can conveniently carry. And then he removes the shoes. So this is what a Christian devotee does before meeting the spiritual head of South India, Kanchi Mahaswamigal. It touches my fancy to press for some opinion about the world's future. When do you think that the political and economic conditions everywhere will begin to improve? A change for the better is not easy to come by quickly. He replies, it is a process needs which must needs take some time. How can things improve when the nation spend more each year on the weapons of death? So he clearly says that and say, but what can be done to help matters? Nothing but spiritual understanding between one nation and another, and between the rich and the poor, will produce goodwill and thus bring real peace and prosperity. So this is very clearly says that in place above he says, if you scrap your battleship and let your cannons rest, that will not stop war. He says it very clearly. People will start to fight with sticks, he says. And we are now facing Europe is in war now. You would like people to introduce spiritual principles into their worldly dealings then? Quite so. It is not impracticable because it is the only way to bring about results which will satisfy everyone in the end and which will not speedily disappear. And if there were more men who had found spiritual light in the world, it would spread more quickly. India, to its honor, supports and respects its spiritual men, though less so than in former times. So imagine if everyone goes for the